Hey everyone, welcome back to Pine Hollow out of Diagnostics. We got a fancy, fast German coupe in the garage. 2014 BMW M235i. This thing looks like a beast. The owner, he's a student here at Penn State, and he said as soon as he bought the car, he started modifying it because that's what you do with BMWs. So you got your cold air intake, your strut stabilizer bar, and then he replaced his steering wheel to, because you got to get the carbon fiber. And then after that, a couple weeks later, he said his horn stopped working, his paddle shifter stopped working, and when he was in a parking lot and he turned the steering wheel to the full lock position, the power steering would just go nuts, and finally it lost power steering altogether. So he has no steering assist. He brought it over. He wants us to take a look at it. I'm like, oh, here we go. Aftermarket parts. People have been messing with it. But let's see if we can figure this one out. See where it goes. So the owner, he showed me that he used a chopstick to poke in these two holes here to get this airbag unit off. And here we have some connectors that go to all the buttons and the airbag and everything else. And basically, what do we want to start with? Well, I think the simplest circuit here to start with is the horn. And then, well, obviously we'll start with a code scan and see if the steering angle sensor is messed up or what the heck is going on. Alright, full code scan. Let's see what we're seeing here. Central gateway module, fault memory full, no control unit fault. Here we go, transmission control module says shift paddle, paddle operation. Okay, no message from the CAS, don't really know what that means. Integrated chassis management says signal actual position EPS. It's electronic power steering. Invalid transmitter EPS. So this electronic power steering sent a message to the ICM and it doesn't have a valid signal. Okay, I don't know if that has anything to do with the steering wheel, but we'll find out. Then cruise control operation. Receiver ICM, transmitter FEM SDL BDC ZGM. Okay. Signal cruise control operation, invalid transmitter FEM. ABS says ICM interface steering angle phase 2 signal invalid. Okay. Multifunction steering wheel. So car access system is missing Lin slave. Steering wheel electronics module missing Lin slave. Short circuit to battery positive on the shift paddles. Car information computer. Okay, not really related. Footwell module. No message, no message. Alright. So let's clear out all the trouble codes and see which ones are relevant. And then we'll try to activate the horn, turn it on, see what the power steering does. See if this thing will. I don't know how to keep this car on. Let me keep it on here. Got the charger plugged in. Ignition switched on. Okay. Okay. So it's going to clear all of them out. So we have 2 codes left. So 2 permanent codes in the ICM saying this invalid steering angle position. So let's jump in here and see if we can read live data. Data stream, steering angle value CSZL. Oh, okay, so basically to see that, you have to go to SZL. What is SZL? I'm not seeing SZL here. That's the roof. Let me find the power steering module. There's ZGM, central gateway. What is SZL? So I unplugged the airbag, and this connector is just kind of hanging out, not really plugged in all the way. See that? I'm wondering if the wires got a little stretched, and these ones are tightened down by the screw. You can see some bare copper right there. I don't know if those are ground wires. They're black. Let me undo that screw. That does not look factory. So, my question is this screw going into this black wire factory option? It could be, but I don't think so. That's just messy. Look at this. Just copper wire. I mean, I'm sure it's just the ground, but it goes up here. And so for the horn, when this is grounded to this, then the horn should kick on. So that's our horn button right there. So this is the wire coming from the connector. This one. Is that supposed to be tied into here? Is that the same gauge? I think so. Let me connect those two up. Because the steering wheel, this should be grounded anyways. Kind of weird. Alright, let's see. Still nothing. And let's just turn the car on. Oh! Got his horn back. I think that connector is just not plugged in all the way. Let's see if any of the other... There we go, left switch block, right switch block. These used to say fault, so if this connector is unplugged, see, they say fault, but if I plug this in, no button pressed. So let's see, plus, those buttons work. Wow, that's loud. Okay, accelerator off button actuated, set button actuated. 2, 1. Okay, great. Resume. Resume button actuated. So I think we fixed that problem, but the power steering issue I think is a separate problem. So let me take care of this. I don't know what that screw is all about. I mean, these wires might be just tied to ground anyways. Let's try to put that back in and then diagnose the steering problem. Alright, so that's fixed. Paddle shifters plus, and then the other one minus. So that's all good. The only codes remaining are in the ICM, so Integrated Chassis Management, signal, actual position, EPS, invalid transmitter, EPS. So EPS does not show up on the scanner, which is really weird. And steering wheel, heated steering wheel, this replacement steering wheel doesn't have a heater in it, so it's fussing about that. So we still don't have power steering because of this EPS fault. I'm going to see if my other scanners can talk to the electronic power steering, get some information on that. And so one problem solved, another one is still current. Alright, so this is exactly why we have various scanners. So this one is a launch, the X431 3S Plus, fully updated. And check it out, it did the full code scan, and we have FlexRay right here and electronic power steering. That was not present on the other topology of the outdated ThinkTool Pros. EPS torque sensor steering angle index faulty. So that is the code that we're worried about. So I'm going to save this in a report, and I'm going to look up that code, see where this torque sensor lives, and go from there. So in this EPS, the torque sensor, if we turn the steering wheel to the right, 8 Newton meters, plus 8, minus 8, so that seems to be okay. Motor position angle, so right there is about 0. Says it's okay. Pinion angle. Index position not stored. So 0 degrees is right about there. Okay, so what was the trouble code? Stroke related, end stops angle related. So these are taught in. Okay. Read fault code. Steering angle index is faulty. EPS torque sensor. Steering angle index. So is that it? You know, can we do anything here? Delete fault memory. Okay. Reset control unit. Read fault code. No DTC. Alright, so let's no DTC. Let's see if the power steering comes back, and we'll turn it lock to lock, see what happens. Alright, here we go. So fire it up. Increase steer effort, drive moderately. So no power steering. It's fussing, read fault code. General fault, drive motor, and index faulty. So does this thing need a steering rack? chassis, shut it off, let it reset. So what if we go to special functions here, chassis, EPS, steering startup, new startup. Okay, let's just try to like carry out startup, yes. Okay, so we're straight ahead. Continue. Brakes must not be operated. Okay. Switch off ignition. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Switch on ignition. Okay, continue. Okay, so reset default condition. Reset. Now we put into operation. Okay. Slowly turning steering wheel to the left full lock. Hold steering wheel at the limit position to moderate effort for a short period of time. Do not let go of the steering wheel. Right full lock. Whoa. This thing just jerked. Okay. Man, it's crazy. So this directional stability deviation written in index position not found. That's a problem in the pinion angle sensor. Okay, so we can try that. Procedure again, but I think we're going to need a steering rack here. So a quick follow-up on this BMW with the power steering problem. I talked to the customer and I told him, it looks like you have a bad steering rack. I asked him, when exactly did this problem start? And then I got the full story. He said when he was modifying his car, he had it up on jack stands. One of the jack stands slipped and the whole weight of the car went down on the steering rack. When the jack stand like pushed up on the steering rack, and after that he had this problem where the steering was just going nuts. I'm like, oh, okay, well that would have been helpful to know, but we're making the right call then. This thing needs a steering rack. So looking up the OEM service info here on this torque sensor, functional description, steering torque causes the torsion bar to twist. The torsion bar transfers steering torque to the pinion. The function of a steering torque sensor is based on the magnetoresistive principle utilize the effect that arises in response to changes in the magnetic field and changes in resistance. Different voltage signals generated by these magnetoresistive elements, and these are forwarded to the EPS control unit. So the torque sensor is integrated into the steering shaft. So here it is. It's part of the entire steering rack assembly. So it's not serviceable. You have to replace the whole piece. Well, guess how much that cost? Here it is. Retails for $4,600. And how much labor does it take to install it? Over 8 hours. And then it needs BMW programming. So, I told the guy, sorry man, take it to the BMW dealership, open up your wallet, and have them take care of the entire thing. So the owner, I didn't hear anything from him for a couple weeks. Then he got back to me. He's like, I got a steering rack somewhere online for cheaper than the dealer. He installed it himself, and then he actually downloaded some app with BMW coding software. I think it's called Protocol. He coded the rack himself, and he said the car is driving great. So the initial problem was caused by the owner, but kudos to the owner for fixing it himself. That's impressive. You got to give credit where credit is due. So the BMW is back on the road. The steering works great. Before the replacement, it was not drivable. I did not want to take it on a test drive because either the steering was super hard to turn or it had a mind of its own where it was trying to correct and jerk around. So I don't know how he even drove it to my shop. But the BMW is fixed. So watch out if you're messing around with these cars. Any little mistake can cost you a lot. So happy ending on that one. Thanks a lot for watching, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.